All right, here we go. Welcome into the Rocky Top Insider postgame show. We are right here on the field in Neyland Stadium just minutes after Tennessee's decisive victory over South Alabama by a score of 60-14. Ryan, there's a lot of things that we're going to get into about this game, man, but I think to start us off, going bowling. Tennessee now reaches bowl eligibility the second time since 2017. How about that in Josh Heupel's inaugural season?
Yeah, and I think going into the year, I think both of us predicted 6-6 for Tennessee. Thought that would be a success. Looks like the Vols are probably going to go 7-5 if they can take care of business last week. But what stands out the most about it is not how little Tennessee's players cared or how Josh Heupel cared, but it was more like an expectation. Yeah. Bayless Jones Jr. had to ask Hendon Hooker, we're at 6 wins right now, and it wasn't some big deal. And there's an SEC school down the road a little bit east of here that was printing out we're bowl eligible shirts tonight. And I think that says a lot about, even in a horrible spot Tennessee's program was coming in this year, I think it says a lot about Josh Heupel and his staff that this was the expectation. Tennessee was going to make a bowl game, and it was going to be a disappointment if they didn't. And they get it done tonight and have a chance to get 7 wins for, I guess, just what would be tied for the third best record Tennessee's had in the regular season since 2007. How about that?
That's unbelievable. I mean, a 7-5 record on the table for the first, last done in 2019.
Yep.
To go to one of your points, though, and this is kind of a season-long trend, and I know that the post-game show isn't necessarily a time for that, but, there has been something to the idea that every single week, Josh Heupel says the team is not looking forward ahead. They're not looking behind. The most important game of each of the season is the one that's right in front of them. And again, this week being one of those weeks, they could have been thinking about bowl eligibility. They could have been thinking about Orlando, Charlotte, Nashville, all these incredible cities, but instead they're focused on their opponent, South Alabama, and that came out to, again, a decisive 60-14 victory. Great job by Tennessee tonight.
Definitely, and focused on South Alabama, but just as much, I think, focused on themselves. And this is a team that's continued to get better. Heupel was very complimentary tonight of how his team approached this game this week. And look, no one's going to be throwing a parade for Tennessee or Josh Heupel that they won 60-14 tonight against the South Alabama team. But you go back the last 5 years, Tennessee's had a lot of games against non-FCS opponents where they have not made it look easy. Obviously, the Georgia State one, they lose. App State one, they barely win. UMass and Charlotte in 2017 and 2018. Just a lot of ugly games against a group of 5 opponents in the last few years. Tennessee, in their 2 games against group of 5 opponents this year, dominates. And tonight, decisive from the beginning. 8 touchdowns on their first 8 drives. 1 drive in there, 1 play, 12-second drive before the half, if you don't count that one. But just a dominant, complete performance from Tennessee. Can't ask for much more.
Yeah, I want to highlight one of the most impressive stats that I saw tonight. South Alabama's third down conversions. 1 of 16.
Yeah.
1 of 16. An unbelievable job by Tennessee's defense tonight. And I will give credit to their quarterback, Trotter. I thought he played a really tough game. I thought he played with a lot of heart, especially when he was just down big the entire game. But to be able to limit that and limit a mobile quarterback like that, something that Tennessee has certainly struggled with, to be able to limit them to a 1 of 16 on third down, I think that really speaks to the development, the continued development that Tennessee's defense has had throughout the year under the course of Tim Banks. What are your kind of final thoughts on this game? Wrapping it up, one more game coming up next week against Vanderbilt in the regular season. But first, final thoughts on this game.
Yeah, so on the third down defense, much better tonight. I think a big part of it, Trotter, solid player, but a little limited in what he can do in the passing game. Tennessee, I think the average down in third down distance for South Alabama was 6.67 yards. I think that was a huge reason for their success. And then the one caveat on that, South Alabama was 5 of 7 on fourth down. So one of those was a fake punt, but Tennessee needs to clean that up.
2 for 2. They had the onside kick, 2 for 2 on trick plays between the fake punt and the onside kick. Hello.
Yeah, so certainly a few things there for Tennessee to clean up, but overall a really complete performance. Hendon Hooker bounces back from a tough start tonight, threw as many incompletions as he had touchdowns. So just a really good game for Tennessee. And Cedric Tillman now, I think he needs 175 yards the last 2 games of the season to get to 1,000 yards on the year. He would become the first Tennessee receiver to have 1,000 yards since Justin Hunter did it in 2012. For a guy that had about 8 career catches coming into this season, just a remarkable season that Tillman's had. Another good one tonight from them.
In actuality, Tennessee's offense has been setting records, tying records all over the place this season. We should probably get a list of those and compile them at some point soon. But, Ryan, that is going to pretty much do it for us today. It is cold. It is cold out here right now in Neyland Stadium, but the team was hot. The offense was hot, and the defense was as well. Again, your final score from Neyland Stadium right behind us, Tennessee 60, South Alabama 14. The Vols are going bowling, but first they will host Vanderbilt next weekend at 3:45 p.m. right here back in Neyland Stadium. So, for Ryan Schumpert, I'm Rick Butler. You've been listening to the Rocky Top Insider postgame show.